In this video, we're going to walk through the new 𝗖𝗋𝗲 feature on the ClearVUE.Zero platform. As soon as you open the 𝗖𝗋𝗲 section for the first time, you'll be presented with this window, guiding you through 3 simple steps to load, monitor, and of course improve your carbon emissions. To get started, let's create a new asset by clicking here. Select an asset type from the drop-down. Give your asset a name. Optionally add a description or upload a picture. Choose a segment, field type, site, and optionally configure some advanced settings for improved analytics. Once you're happy with the selection, click Add Asset to save the data to the platform. At this point, we can begin to add data. As you can see, the system has already pre-populated some of the assets. You can see our newly created asset to the end. Click here and choose either between manual input or upload data from an Excel or CSV file. To input data, simply select the date and distance traveled. You can toggle the distance unit between kilometers and miles. The system will automatically validate any inputs. Once you're happy with the selection, click Save, and the data has been saved to the platform. We can now close this window and proceed to the main 𝗖𝗋𝗲 UI. The left menu displays a list of all of the assets monitored on the platform, categorized by Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions. The system has automatically created assets for any gas and electricity meters monitored by ClearVUE under Scope 1 emissions for gas and Scope 2 emissions for electricity. We can examine the data for any of these system-generated assets by opening the context menu and selecting Examine Data. The widgets display the total emissions across both Scope 1 and Scope 2, with the chart displaying a further breakdown of the data. We can change the range of data that is being displayed by making use of the Range Selector buttons, or by choosing a custom period from the Date Selector menu. We can scope the data to one or more assets by simply selecting them from the left-hand menu. As you can see, the UI has updated accordingly to reflect our choice. We can select Reset at any time to go back to the default view. The data table shows a breakdown of usage across all of the assets that we're monitoring, broken down by Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions, with usage data and related emissions compared to the previous year. We can toggle this between scopes or by categories within each individual scope. From here, we can also add new assets by navigating to the left-hand menu, selecting a category, in this case gaseous fuels, add asset, and simply fill out the form as you did previously, and select Add Asset once we're done. Going back to the asset we created previously, we can delete, edit, or examine data for the asset. From here, we can add additional data, either via manual input or from a file. If we need help adding data from a file, download the template to get started. Let's go ahead and upload some data from a file. Click here. Select the file you'd like to upload. Select the columns, choose the distance, and click Save. By default, assets are listed across both Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions across all sites. By clicking here, we can view emissions across Scope 1 and Scope 2 for each site individually. Once we're happy with the data that we've inputted, we can proceed to download an SECR report. Click here, select a 12-month period, either by calendar, fiscal, or a custom year. Select or create a new intensity role. Enter one or more targets, for example, new LED lighting, and download the SECR report. The SECR report details emissions across both Scope 1 and Scope 2, as well as energy and total carbon emissions. This is broken down from one year to the next, with the difference in intensity ratio between each year respectively. Further down, you can see the energy efficiency plan based on the target that we inputted, as well as some methodology notes detailing the calculations and factors used to generate the report.